Coming up on the Paper Talk today, Erik Ten Hag is back in training, but how secure is his future? Also, Manchester United being linked with two players from Bayern Munich. We love a Bayern Munich player, don't we? Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it's a little bit breezy, so you might want to put your parkers on. Loads of stories to get through, so we will crack on. Before we do, though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Let's get to 800,000 subscribers. With your support, yes, we can get there. Right, a lot of stories this morning focusing on the fact that Erik Ten Hag is still the Manchester United manager. I think we all know now that he isn't going to get sacked during this international break. The international break is almost over. We've got Brentford at the weekend. He's going to be the manager of Manchester United for that game, and hopefully more games moving forward. I say hopefully because if he wins football matches, you imagine he'll keep his job. And regardless of whether you think he's the right man or not, you still want Manchester United to win football matches, if that makes sense. I'm not one of those who says, oh, I hope we lose so we get rid of the manager. No, never me. Anyway, he's still the manager and he's been back in training. The BBC and other outlets reporting it, that he was in training yesterday, obviously back at Carrington, looking ahead to the game against Brentford here at Old Trafford this weekend, where we will be doing a watch-along and post-match reactions, so make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Listen, I feel like we're sort of over the initial bit of like drama and intrigue and scepticism about whether he's keeping his job. We've got there through this international break almost, so that feels like okay, he's safe for now, but it's not gone away, and it'd be foolish to say that his job is safe for the long term. It feels like he's very much under review. Like Ineos are keeping an eye on him, and if results don't improve, then he could very well find himself on the dole queue. Now, Football Insider and I think Gimme Sport and a couple of others have been reporting about this, saying that he might even have just two games to save his job. I think the Brentford game at the weekend is going to be seminal. We've got other big games coming up as well, but when I say big games, winnable games, I think Fenerbahce's on the horizon. You've got Leicester both in the Cup and in the league as well. I think you've got West Ham in the league. You've got Bodo Glimt coming up in the Cup. These are games that are winnable. But if you don't win them, then you're under a lot of pressure. And I actually think if he loses at home to Brentford, that might be a game where the managers, the Ineos and the hierarchy review it again and say, look, have we made a mistake keeping him? I expect Erik Ten Hag to make it till at least the next international break. Then I think it'll be looked at. However, if he loses a lot of games between now and that international break, then a decision might already have been made. He might not sack him straight away, but a decision might have been made. Get involved in the chat in the comments and let us know what you think. I hate sort of speculating about the manager's future. I hate standing here going, oh, he's got one more game or two more games and that could be it for him. But you've got to be honest about where we're at as a club, as Manchester United, and where he's at as a manager. We had a disappointing season last season in the league. I know it ended on a massive high winning the FA Cup. We're now sat in the bottom half of the table. We've lost back-to-back home games to Spurs and Liverpool, I think it is, in the league. Underwhelming games in the Europa, obviously leading against FC20 and leading against Porto as well. So it'd be foolish to go, okay, well, he's going to be safe. Even if Ineos haven't come out and said he's going anywhere, or there's not been any leaks looking like he's going to be sacked, he's under a massive amount of pressure, and I think I can understand why people are speculating about it, and I think there's a good reason for it. And I think he is in that sort of stage now where every game is proving like it could be seminal. Get a result against Brentford and hopefully we can move on. But if you lose at home to Brentford, then you are going to be in all sorts of trouble. I think that's just the nature of the beast as Manchester United manager, especially a Manchester United manager who's just finished 8th in the league and who's currently got a club that's sat in the bottom half of the table. Anyway, we'll move on. Let's talk about some transfer news, some transfer rumours, because we're already into transfer rumours. Florian Plettenberg, who's a friend of the channel, very reliable source out in Germany, he works for Sky Germany, or Sky Sports Germany, I should say. I think he's been at, used to be at Sport 1 as well. He was saying that Manchester United are looking at Leon Goretzka and also Leroy Sané from Bayern Munich, looking at those two players. I think those two players have got sort of coming towards the end of their deals, could be available. We're looking at those two players. I think there's been a few reports about Goretzka as well, that United are looking at him as a potential midfield acquisition. Makes a lot of sense, very talented individual, can play in a number of roles in midfield, including DM. I know there's this obsession in that we need a DM. I know we've got Manuel Ugarte, but having a little bit of a backup wouldn't hurt. Some people say, well, Casemiro is that guy. Others would say, well, Casemiro's not that guy anymore and he's probably going to leave in the summer. So it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on, just to see what happens with Sané and Goretzka. Are we going to go for them in January? Are we going to go for them next summer? We'll have to wait and see. When someone like Florian Plettenberg says it, though, who does have his sort of finger on the pulse when it comes to German football, it's worth taking notice of. It's worth looking at, because a lot of the time you look at it and you go, okay, it's just speculation. Really? Goretzka, Sané, especially Sané's Manchester City connection there. Can you see that happening? maybe, maybe not. But Plettenberg's saying it, so I'm definitely taking an interest in those rumours. I think they're more than just, well, at the minute they're just in the rumour stage, but it's worth keeping an eye on. If it was up to me, I don't know about Leroy Sané. I've always been a little bit underwhelmed by him. I'll be honest with you. I know, obviously, he won trophies at Manchester City, but everyone wins trophies at Manchester City, unfortunately. But whenever I watched him, I always thought he's okay. I don't think he's that great. I know he can, on his day, be very talented, and you might argue, well, he probably gets into this Manchester United team. But, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little bit overly ambitious or whatever, but I just think we should be aiming a little bit higher. Let me know what you think about Leroy Sané. In terms of Goretzka, I've not seen loads of him, but he is one of the sort of most spoken about midfielders over there in Germany. He's obviously done very well over the years at Bayern Munich. There was a time when he was a lot younger. I think when he was at Schalke, he talked about one of his like being this sort of the next big thing. Very talented midfielder. Again, would he get games at Manchester United? Absolutely. Would he give us something different? Yes. Would he be a good option for Erik Ten Hag or the next manager, if indeed it is the next manager? Yeah, I think he would. So I wouldn't be against Goretzka. Probably wouldn't be against Sané if he ended up here. I just don't see it happening, to be brutally honest with you. We'll have to wait and see, though. It's one to sort of keep an eye on, as I said earlier. Just one final story as well. Toone has broken a record. 93 consecutive appearances for the same team in the Women's Super League. It was a record that she broke against Spurs at the weekend. 3-0 win for Manchester United women over Spurs. Toone breaking that record, 93 consecutive games. Well done to her. I'd like to see something like that in the men's team, to be honest with you. 93 consecutive appearances from some of the men's players, because at the minute it still feels like we're having this little bit of a merry-go-round when it comes to the squad, when it comes to injuries as well. There's talk in there that maybe Johnny Evans is going to have to come in at left back at the weekend. Nusayr Mazraoui's obviously had I think he's had an operation or procedure. Some sort of cardio procedure. He should be okay, but he's going to be out for a few weeks. That's left us a little bit threadbare when it comes to the fullback position. We've still got Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia waiting to come back into the team. Not quite sure how ready they are to make that first team appearance or to get reintegrated back into the first team. It's been a long time since Luke Shaw played. I think February, last time he played for Manchester United. I know he played for England in the Euros. You have to go even further back for Tyrell Malacia, so we'll have to wait and see if either of those two are available. I don't think they will be available for the Brentford game, so it looks like we might have to have Victor Lindelof or Johnny Evans or Lisandro Martinez at left back. Not ideal. We should have an update later on this week from Erik Ten Hag. He'll be giving his press conference so we can find out just what is going on. It's going to be difficult because Brentford are a good team, and the record against Brentford, especially under Erik Ten Hag, it's a bit hit and miss in it. It's a bit up and down. We've had some good results, had some poor results, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I wouldn't fancy having a makeshift defence against Brentford. They have scored a few goals this season. I think they scored 5 in one game, which is about the same as we've scored all season. Well, it is the same as we've scored all season in the Premier League, so that speaks volumes. Anyway, I digress. Make sure you're hitting like, share and subscribe. Going to be back later on. Stephen House is going to be joining us on the channel. He's going to be doing one of his videos with Joe Smith, looking at something Manchester United related. Even I don't know what it is yet, so there you go. I'm in the dark as well. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk outside a pretty cold Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.